Hey guys, Derek from ForeGolf Custom here. It's all about the wedges today. We're talking about Titleist Vokey SM7 Wedges. I'm going to talk a little bit about the technology, a little bit about the design, but really what I'm going to do today is David and I are going to show you the top 4 things that we use when we're fitting Titleist wedges, so you can make the best decision for you based on bounce, loft, grind, and even shaft. So keep watching. Hi there, my name is Derek Murray of ForeGolf Custom, and I'm an independent club fitter and club maker based here just outside Dublin in Ireland. I'm going to share with you some of my knowledge of fitting all different types of golfers over the last 20 years and share with you some of the insights that I have on the different brands and clubs and how they perform for the different golfers. I've written magazine articles, I've worked for the PGA of Canada, and basically there's nobody better placed to advise you about what type of club will suit you and your game. The Titleist SM7 Wedges. 3 colorways to start with. You've got the jet black, you've got the brushed steel, and the tour chrome. There's 6 different sole grinds on these wedges, and you can get them in a whole plethora of different lofts, from 46 right up to the mid-60s. It's very difficult to understand really the technology that's here. So the simplest way to do is they've changed the CG locations. So in the higher lofted irons, the CG is more up towards the toe to help balance the control of launch and spin. And then the CG is deeper and more towards the sole on the lower lofted wedges, and it splits then obviously in the middle. There's 23 different combinations that you can have from these wedges, and it's a bit of a nightmare, to be fair, and trying to figure out what's best for the golfer. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to knock off TrackMan today, because it's not about the numbers. What we're going to do is David and I are going to talk you through a Titleist wedge fitting session. We're going to outline some four key things for you guys to learn and take away, so that when you're looking at wedges and trying to get those short clubs into the bag, what's the best thing to do regarding bounce, loft, and grind. The Titleist Vokey SM7s, I don't think it's important for us to hit many balls with and pull data in. I don't think that's what people want to know about. What people want to know about is the key things they need to take away when they go to make a choice about the club and how to get the best one. So I think the first thing for us to discuss is bounce. How do you see bounce working with the club, Dave?
Okay, so bounce is just the angle created between the leading edge and the ground, and I think in most cases it's subjective to where you play. How hard is it? How soft is it? What is the conditions that you play in? I
remember on tour, one of the things the players used to talk about was the relationship with the club, the sole of the club to the ground. And so really it's this shape of the club, the rounded shape, and what you can see on the sole. And that's the key thing to understand. I've often talked about to players about the bounce in terms of how they swing and how they hit.
Certainly, yeah.
So if you're steep into the ball and you come in quite angular, usually more bounce is better. If you're more of a sweep and you come in more shallower, a little bit more bounce is usually the trick.
And then in harder, firmer turf conditions, yes, lower bounce works, and in softer conditions, higher bounce works.
Perfect. That's kind of the easiest way to do it. Although softer bunkers, I would normally say a little bit more bounce would usually work better when the ground, when the grain is a little bit softer and you see more sand, or it feels softer on the foot. A wider bounce. You've often as well said a good mix of different bounces is good, yeah, in case you go to different courses or you
different courses. If the sand, if it's been raining and the sand's wet and compacted, bounce
keep the bounce low.
So if you have one that has a bit of bounce on it and one that has not much bounce on it, then at least you can make an intelligent decision about, I'm going to take this club into the bunker because it's wet, I'm going to take this one in because it's dry. Perfect. Same for the turf. If it's dry, it's firm, like a links golf course or somewhere that's just baked in the sun, I'll nip it with a lower bounce, or if it's a little bit soft, take a bit of bounce with it. And then you, instead of going, well, this is my shot for this distance, say this is my club for this type of environment.
Yep. Grind on the club is the next thing, a bit complicated as well. On tour, we used to grind the clubs by hand, so you'd actually put them onto a wheel and grind the head to shape the club based on what the player wanted. Bob Vokey's gone a step further, and he's taken his 6 top grinds that he's seen on tour and used for different players and produced them into all his different wedges in the different bounces. So grind essentially is where you shape or take away steel to allow the club to be a little bit more versatile. Yeah. And this is usually players who are a bit more imaginative that kind of want to play different shots. Have you seen one grind working better for players or preferable, or what have you seen?
I guess in most cases when you want to have a grind on it, it's when you want heel relief.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to open the loft up,
lay the club back,
and knock it underneath. If you've got nothing in the heel, when you open it out, you don't have to have a huge, you'll create bounce.
And doesn't lift the leading edge.
But it's not going to create it so high that you then just, all you can do is thin the shot.
Perfect. So that's grind more or less. Remember again, it's about relationship with the sole, with the ground. So as you want the club to react on the ground, think about bounce and grind together with that kind of an idea. Lofts, gapping. This is, I think, is probably the most important part. So you probably want to take note on this, folks.
I think so. But I mean, you've got to start with your shortest, most lofted iron first of all and work out how far that goes.
Be it 9-iron or pitching wedge?
Be it 9-iron or pitching wedge, because
Okay.
you can get these type of wedges in a pitching wedge.
Okay.
So next thing, work out how much space you got left in the golf bag to fit in as many wedges as you possibly can.
So get in as many wedges, right?
So certainly if you are, the longer hitters especially will need more wedges than they'll need anything else.
Right.
So if you're a long
So wherever
hitter,
you've space in the bag in terms of number of clubs, fill them with wedges.
fill them with wedges.
Perfect. Work out the longest one, work into that. Perfect. And then lofts, work in what degrees between them?
So in most irons you tend to be about 4. So in an ideal world you would keep 4 in the wedges if you're going to have gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge as a
4 degrees.
combination. But as a general rule, as long as you keep the gaps even for distance control and distance gapping, that'll work equally as well. Because with the modern day iron profile, say in the last 4 or 5 years, so anybody who's got newer irons,
Yeah.
your pitching wedge is much stronger than it used to be. Hence, traditionally in the past, your 52, 56, 60
Needs to
needs to be 50, 54, 58 to back up to the pitching wedge. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a massive gap at the place where you don't need the gaps at all.
Perfect. And then last thing I think that people need to be aware of is the build, so matching them to the sets, matching to your iron. So if you're playing a longer length iron, you need to be
longer in length.
Longer in length. And also, if you're going to have a problem with length in the irons in terms of your profile or your posture, you're going to have it with the wedges particularly.
Yeah, because if you need a middle club long, then you're definitely going to need a short club long.
Brilliant.
So keep it long, and then from a shaft perspective, don't make it too stiff.
Keep it soft.
If you're really stable in the iron shaft, give yourself a load of feel.
Yeah.
You can even have the gap wedge with an iron shaft and then just make the bottom two not quite full shots.
Keep it soft.
Keep it full of feel.
Brilliant.
Keep it full of balance.
So there's your 4 main points. The big one here though is, I think, the loft and spacing. Remember, the pitching wedges are much stronger, so you're going to have to keep that gap narrower, move the lofts up in the wedges, and where you would normally have been 52, 56 and 60, as Dave says, move it up 50, 54, 58. Work around with the different lofts, work around with the different bounce and grinds, figure out what you need. But I certainly hope that information now you can take away and make something, take away and get the right type of wedges to suit you in your game. We've a lot more videos coming out. There's a few more coming out this month as well. So easiest way to stay in touch is to actually subscribe to the channel. Dave, where can we find that?
A little bit tedious by this point, but somewhere down there.
It is. Oh, and remember, hit the little bell beside the subscribe button, because then you'll get notified when the videos go live. Thanks for watching.